within the region or within the state, but really at the national level. Mr. Justin Minkel was the Arkansas Teacher of the Year in 2007. And since that time, he has become and is an advisor to national leaders, our Secretary of Education, the President of the United States, as we look and think and plan together about how to personally serve all of our children. He teaches at Jones Elementary School just a few blocks away. And I know the school doors and certainly his classroom doors would be open to each of you to come and be a partner with him in terms of service to our children. Mr. Minkel has done so many things to help bring distinction to this school district and to the services that we provide for children. But at the heart of it all is his love for each and every child, for his willingness to develop a personal education plan, for his eagerness to establish partnerships with moms and dads and the community as a whole so that we might all work together to help our children be successful and to help our families be successful. So again, as Superintendent of Schools, I welcome each of you. And if you would now, help me extend a special invitation to our keynote speaker, Mr. Justin Minkel.
Good morning, buenos dias, Yahweh, hujambo, namaste. It is such an honor to be here. I want to ask you to help me today with this speech by repeating these words, this question, what does it mean to be an American? So whenever you see this black screen, I'll point to you, and I want everyone in the auditorium to please say with me. Let's practice. 1, 2, 3. What does it mean to be an American? You'd think that I would know the answer to that question and would have an easy answer because I've been a U.S. citizen all my life. But the truth is, I have learned so much about what it means to be an American and to have the American spirit from you and from your children, the kids I teach, and families who have chosen to make the United States their home after often growing up in a different culture or a different language. When I was a new teacher, I did my training in Texas, and I had a student who arrived in America from the country of Cuba just 3 days before the summer program started. And I asked the kids to write down their goals for that summer program. And I thought they'd write things like, get better at reading, get better at math. But Marco up there wrote one line in Spanish, Yo quiero triunfar en este país. I want to triumph in this country. And Marco taught me something about what it means to be an American. Now, he didn't speak English. He hadn't learned a lot of the customs that you all have learned to be here today. But he had that American spirit of courage and of a dream for his life that went way beyond just getting good grades in school or someday buying a new car or a nice house. You know, he really had this dream of triumph in this country. So say with me, what does it mean to be an American? On Sunday, President Obama reminded us during a memorial for the lives lost on September 11th of our nation's motto, E pluribus unum. And what that means is, from many, one. We are a nation of immigrants. And being an American has never been about the color of your skin. It's never been about how much money you make, or even what language you speak when you're at home with your family. Being an American is really about two things: what's in your head, in your mind, and then also what's in your heart. Because there are no tiers or levels of citizenship in America. There are not some citizens who are VIP, who matter a lot, and others who matter less. And it doesn't matter whether today will be your first day as a U.S. citizen, or whether you have lived all your life here, like me. Beginning when you take the oath of allegiance in this hour, you are just as American as I am, or anyone in this country is. You have the same rights, los derechos, and you have the same responsibilities, las responsabilidades. I love this photo because it shows the most powerful person in our country, President Obama, bowing down to a 5-year-old, to a kindergartner, because that little boy wanted to know if the president's hair felt like his hair. And the most important lesson my parents, including my mom, who's here today, taught me about what it means to be an American is something that they never said out loud. I just saw it in their example. That everyone is equal, and it doesn't matter if someone is a hotel maid who cleans hotel rooms or a businessman who runs international businesses. I never saw my mom and dad, when I was growing up, bow down to someone just because of their power, and I never saw them disrespect someone because they lacked that power. So please say it with me. What does it mean to be an American? I think America is unique because it didn't begin as a land, and it didn't begin as a kingdom with a king and queen. It began as an idea in people's minds. And that idea was that we are a nation that could become better with every generation. It was the idea that our children should play and go to school with children who look different from them, who maybe speak a different language or even practice a different religion. When I think about what it means to be America, I think America's strength is about what we share, what we hold in common as far as those ideas, but it's also in what makes us different from one another. And I think we are a nation that knows our strength does not come from building walls to keep some people out. It comes from building bridges to invite people in. To love this country, you don't have to think America is perfect. Our founding fathers began the Constitution with these words: "We the people, in order to form a more perfect union." More perfect, not perfect yet. So we know we have problems like poverty and racism. We don't have to ignore those. But loving America means that we believe it's our job, we the people, everyone in this room, including parents and teachers, police officers, elected officials, to make America a little more perfect with every single generation. That's why I hope that all of you will vote in every election, and not just for president or senator, but for school board, for city council, for those local elections. And I hope that you will consider running for some of those positions yourselves, now that you are about to be U.S. citizens. We need people in positions of power, like Sonia Sotomayor. We need leaders who reflect the faces and experiences of the American people in all of our diversity. And we also need teachers, police officers, PTO presidents who reflect that diversity. And in our country right now, there's a lot of talk about the impact of immigration on the United States. Some of it positive, some of it ugly. But there's one statement I never hear that I believe should be the first thing said to anyone like you who chooses to make their home here. And that statement is thank you. Can you raise your hand if you have children? Si tiene hijos o hijas. These are my own children, Ariana and Aiden, and I truly believe that the America they know is safer, is more meaningful, is more prosperous because of you, because you have chosen to raise your children side by side with my children as Americans. I'm a teacher, and 12 years ago, I was a new teacher in Springdale, and Dr. Rollins spoke to us, and I still remember the very first words he said to this class of new teachers filling the room. He said, "It doesn't matter whether a child comes from across the ocean or from right down the street. The moment they walk through those classroom doors, they are our kids. They are our children." And I've never forgotten that. I love that I get to shape 1 year of children's lives, but it is just 1 year. And so if you have kids or you will have kids, you are your children's teacher for all their years. I'm a grown-up, and I still learn from my mom. And one thing that I think you have taught your children, just by making your home in this country, is courage, another American trait. You know, one thing I've noticed as a dad is that sons and daughters don't always listen to the words we say, but they pay very careful attention to our actions, to what we do. I want to share a quote I love. "You can't discover new lands without losing sight of the shore." In Spanish, "No se puede descubrir nuevas tierras sin perder de vista la costa." All of you have shown the courage it takes to leave your home and to learn a new language, to lose sight of that shore. But what makes America a great country is that you don't have to leave behind who you are to gain U.S. citizenship. You don't have to give that up. You can bring home, whether it's your culture or your language, with you to this country. You know, my students, like the kids who led the pledge, they tend to learn English very quickly. I'm amazed how quickly they learn English. But sometimes by junior high or high school, they start to forget their language, or they can speak it, but they can't write it. And if they forget that language, they have lost a whole way of seeing the world. They have also lost a connection with older relatives, their abuelo or abuela, their grandma or grandpa, because sometimes older people in the family don't always speak English as comfortably. So I would encourage all of you to make sure that we help kids keep that connection, both languages, both cultures, that make them who they are. One of the things that gives me great hope for the future for Springdale, for Arkansas, and America is that it will be shaped by your children. Their ideas, their goodness, their brilliance, their creativity, and their courage. And whatever you and I can dream together for our own lives and for the lives of our children, we can achieve together by taking one step, even if it's into the unknown, and then another and another. There's a proverb in Spanish: we make the path by walking. Se hace el camino al andar. So I want to close today with a poem by Antonio Machado that expresses that idea. Traveler, the only path is your footprints and no other. Traveler, there is no path. Make your way by going farther. By going farther, make your way, until looking back at where you've wandered, you look back on that path you may not set foot on from now onward. Traveler, there is no path, only the trails of your boat's wake on the waters. Caminante, son tus huellas, el camino y nada más. Caminante, no hay camino, se hace camino al andar. Al andar se hace el camino, y al volver la vista atrás, se ve la senda que nunca se ha de volver a pisar. Caminante, no hay camino, sino estelas en la mar. What does it mean to be an American? The answer is here in this room, in your example, in your courage to make your own path. Adelante, siempre adelante, onward, ever onward. Congratulations to all of you, bless you, and thank you for making this country your home.
Thank you so much, Mr. Minkel. And what we're going to do now at this time is we are going to present all of our petitioners this morning. For that purpose, we have Ms. Deborah Emery with us today. She's the acting officer with the Department of United States Citizenship and Immigration Services out of their Fort Smith, Arkansas office. Ms. Emery, we gonna do this up here? Are we gonna go down front, or how are we gonna do that? Great. All right. Well, I would invite you to present the petitioners at this time.
Good morning. May it please the Court, the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services within the Department of Homeland Security notified 45 persons representing 12 different nationalities to appear before court this morning for the administration of the Oath of Allegiance. Of those so notified, 4 have failed to respond to the call of roll. The Department would respectfully move at this time that those persons' applications be set over to a later date due to their absences.
That motion will be granted.
13 persons present before the court have requested to have their names changed as part of these naturalization proceedings. The requests appear to be reasonable, and the department offers no objection. The appropriate orders have been prepared on the applicant's behalf. The department respectfully moves that those requests be granted as part of the proceedings.
That motion will be granted as well.
Each of the persons present today before the court has been examined by an officer of the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. They have been found to be persons of good moral character, attached to the principles of our Constitution, and well disposed to the good order and happiness of the United States. They have demonstrated a satisfactory knowledge of the history and government of the United States, and have further met the requirements of law concerning their ability to read, write, and speak the English language. It is a conclusion of the department that each of the persons present before this court is, in all respects, qualified for naturalization. At this time, I would like to introduce the applicants to court. If you would, please stand, state your name, the country of your current nationality, and then be seated. On behalf of the government of the United States of America, I respectfully move that each of the persons here assembled be admitted to citizenship upon taking the prescribed oath of allegiance.
That motion will be granted, and at this time I would ask our clerk of court to administer the oath.
Please stand and raise your right hands. I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by the law, and that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, so help me God. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, and let me be the first to say welcome, my fellow Americans. We are going to present your certificates. We're going to move that until we've concluded the ceremony, because Judge Brooks and I would actually like to come down there and shake your hands and be a part of that. So I just have a few closing remarks that I would like to say to all of you. I don't know if you're aware, you're being watched by many eyes right now. This ceremony is being streamed. I'm not sure if it's across the entire Springdale School District, but we do have several schools that are watching you. And for all of those students that are watching, what I want to say is the journey you have been on, and this is the last step today as you just took that oath of allegiance, has been a long journey. Many people don't realize that. Those of us, all of us, really, that are born in this country take our citizenship for granted. I invite all of my friends, my daughter's friends, everyone I know, to come and watch one of these ceremonies, because you will not take your citizenship for granted after you participate in one of these ceremonies. What everyone should reflect on is you all left homes behind, you left family members behind, you left jobs behind, coming to this country and not knowing what it would hold for you. If you'd have a home, if you'd have a job, you had to make new friends. So it takes a lot of courage to take that step. And then to put in the work that it takes when you're trying to raise families and trying to support yourselves to actually become a United States citizen. It is just so commendable. And again, I want to congratulate you, and I hope everyone that is watching here today looks at you and looks at the positive side of immigration. You are the face of the positive side of immigration. And I know it's a very happy day for you all. You're now United States citizens, but it's a happy day for America. We embrace you. One of the things my mom instilled in me growing up was life would be boring if we were all the same. I didn't really understand that. I just took it for granted, I think, growing up. As an adult, I value that lesson she taught me. We are America because we embrace all different cultures and religions and beliefs and cuisine, and you have now added to that diversity. And I encourage all of you to pursue every dream you have. America is a great country. Nothing comes easy, and you know that. It takes hard work. But if you want to go to college, if you want to become a lawyer, a doctor, a judge, it is all possible for you. It takes hard work, but it is possible for you. And you have created not only a world of possibilities for yourselves, but for your children as well. So again, I would like to congratulate you, and it's an honor to be a part of this ceremony.
And I actually wanted to make a closing remark as well. I neglected to say so earlier, but this is kind of a tie-in to Miss Jan King, who's here from the Daughters of the American Revolution. You know, we fought to form this new country a long time ago, back in 1776. But it wasn't until many years later when there was a constitutional assembly and they drafted our Constitution, and then it had to be ratified by the states. And it was on this very day, September 16th in 1787, when the United States Constitution was ratified. So you, our newest citizens, have the distinct honor of being sworn in, so to speak, as our new citizens on Constitution Day 2016, and I'd like to congratulate each and every one of you. We will retire the colors at this time, and then immediately after we have adjourned court, we will hand out the certificates. I'd like to invite Mr. Minkel, if you would, to actually be the person to hand the certificates to our new applicants today. I'd like to invite Dr. Rollins, if he would like to be part of our receiving line as well. So at this time, I'd ask our officers from the Springdale Police Department to retire the color.
Retire colors, up! Color guard, about, up! Reload! Color guard, push! Forward, forward!
All right, the court will be in recess at this time. We will form a receiving line, and Ms. Emery will help organize us down here. But court is in recess at this time.